We established never night thing. We have smoking flames coming out of the Charlie side.
Negative claim, that's confirmed. That's just 10 clear me in the corner.
For engine 61, engine 62, engine 66, or 64, battalion 64, battalion 71. Going to be a structure fire.
Structure fire,
66, go ahead.
I need a full response for a structure fire.
Welcome, everybody. I know the acoustics are a little challenging, but I'll try to speak as clearly as possible. Welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Richmond's annual Public Safety Dinner. My name's Jim Becker. I'm the president of the Richmond Kiwanis Club, and I want to thank you. I want to thank our partners and sponsors, Mechanics Bank and Chevron, tonight. I also want to acknowledge a new partnership with the Reentry Success Center. The members of the center are the folks who helped us get the tables and everything set up today, and they'll be joining as my guests at tonight's dinner. Tonight we honor those men and women who serve our city every day and keep our neighborhoods safe and help our city thrive. Typically in Kiwanis, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'll ask everyone to rise. The flag is behind us. I pledge allegiance Thank you. So Kiwanis is pleased to put on this event every year. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving our community. And we know that those who work in and volunteer in public safety share this value. I've been coming to these dinners for about 10 years, and I've witnessed the competition, particularly between the police and the fire department, and the swagger of who's better, and all that. You know, but the departments play up these differences, and it's fun camaraderie. But as someone who doesn't work in public safety, the only difference I ever see at these events is that at the end of the night, the police officer walks away with a gun, and the fire department person of the year, the fire officer of the year, walks away with an axe. But there's a lot more in common. And I want to reflect on those for a moment. No one here tonight would probably disagree with the fact that both fire personnel and police personnel look really good in their uniforms. In fact, there's calendars that show that. Both firefighters and police officers walk into work every day, committed to keeping us safe. Both police officers and firefighters truly care about this community. And when they go home at night, they're glad that they've had a chance to serve and make a difference. Kiwanis shares these values about making a difference, although you probably don't want to see me in a calendar. So tonight, we honor those who serve, those who as volunteers or staff, youth or adults, work together to make Richmond a safe and thriving community. Thank you for joining us. It's now my privilege to introduce a fellow Richmond Kiwanis Club member and our MC for tonight, the one, the only, now retired police captain, Joey Schlemmer.
Wow. Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. So we have a pretty busy program ahead of us. Before we start, I just wanted to thank not just the men and women of the fire department and the police department that are here, but our family. Public safety service is unique. It means we don't spend Christmas, other holidays, birthdays, other special engagements with our family sometimes, and our family has to be flexible and make some accommodations around our schedule. So for those of us that are serving, I want you to give our citizens and our family a round of applause for being there for us. So we couldn't have had this event again without the great partnerships with some of our businesses in town. I'd like to recognize corporate sponsor Mechanics Bank, Raleigh Butler and his crew. Thank you, Raleigh. And also Chevron, and if I could have Brian Humbinger come up, please.
Thank you, Joy, and thank you all for being here. What a great turnout. Chevron's been a member of Kiwanis and a proud sponsor of this event for many, many years, and this is one event that we'll always look forward to coming to. So thank you again. I know I'm between you and dinner, so thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our men and women in uniform and the men and women who in the community who support our men and women in uniform. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. So along with the awards, we do have some certificates from some of our electeds. Those will include certificates from the mayor's office, Tom Butt, and representing the mayor's office is Dominique Roche Green. She's in the audience. Thank you, Dominique. Supervisor John Joya was planning on attending. He's a little under the weather. I don't want to spread a rumor about Corona, but he's not here. Assembly member Buffy Wicks is being represented by Uche Iwamahu. Thank you, Uche, for being here. We have certificates from State Senator Nancy Skinner, and we also have certificates from U.S. Congressman Mark DeSaulnier, and representing Congressman DeSaulnier's office is Taylor Kimber. She's also here. Before we start, there's just wanted to recognize our newly appointed city manager, Laura Schneidman. Thank you for being here. The first award of the evening will go to the Police Explorer of the Year. Can I have Officer Carmen Santana come up, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Was the food delicious? Yes? Good. All right, so tonight we are congratulating our Explorer of the Year recipients, Explorer Josue Segura. Explorer Segura is currently one of our acting Explorer corporals. He supervises, trains, encourages the explorers within our program to excel as a group. Explorer Segura lives in the city of Richmond, Southern District, attends leadership school, and is the oldest of 3 siblings. He helps his parents with their family business, and of course, he is a San Francisco 49ers fan. So let's go Niners. So Explorer Segura first heard about our program at the age of 11. He made sure he stopped by at each event. He greeted us and reminded us that he had a big interest in becoming a police explorer. For those that do not know about the requirements about our program, the age group is 14 to 20 years old. At the time, again, he was only 11 years old. So for 2 years, he came and stopped by at every single city event to tell us that we needed to recruit him. So, similar to those individuals counting down time closer to their retirement, he had his own countdown. Explorer Segura was crossing out days, bringing him closer to the age that he finally met the requirement of the age of 14. So after his 14th birthday, Explorer Segura showed up to the first Explorer meeting last year on Monday, February 4th of 2019. He was excited and thrilled to be there. He brought a new and fresh and warm attitude, which was that was very contagious and very needed within our program. Without any hesitation, Explorer Segura registered for the 2019 Summer Youth Police Academy, which is a 2-week-long course that is held at Contra Costa College. And with that, we exposed the youth to many duties police officers perform while building self-confidence and character of the police explorers. By teaching them new skills and challenging them to overcome obstacles, we prepare them for a career in law enforcement, and we teach them all the necessary tools that they need for the profession that they choose, right? So some of them in public safety, even though they don't want to become police officers, of course, some of them want to be heroes, which we all know and appreciate, right? The fire side. So, you're welcome, Chief. So Explorer Segura quickly demonstrated leadership skills and motivated others to fight hard. He experienced a few issues physically, but he did not let that deter him. For one of the days at the academy that we recall, we were actually outside during the morning sessions where we do drills, inspections, we make them do push-ups, sit-ups, etc., right? We make them work as a team. So we teach them that when one fails, they all fail. So him being a current leader of the program at that time with one of the squads, he was falling a little bit behind, and it wasn't on his end. He started having issues breathing. His inhaler was not working, but regardless of all that, he did not want to stop. He actually got mad because I have to pull him aside and tell him to stop. And of course, at this time, our favorite heroes, but on this end, it was the Contra Costa County Fire Department showed up. They assisted him, and even then, I still had to force him to go to the hospital to seek some attention. Finally, his mother showed up, took him, and I kid you not, maybe within an hour or two, the door to the classroom was open and he walks back in that door. He did not want to go home. He did not want to stop. And us seeing that in him motivated us, the advisors, other explorers, and all the other attendings that were there. So for that, Explorer Segura actually received the 2019 Most Improved Award in a Summer Youth Academy. So with that, he wants to, Explorer Segura actually wants to pursue a career in law enforcement here within the city of Richmond, and he hopes to one day become a canine handler. So with all that said, please help me in congratulating Explorer Josue Segura as the Explorer of the Year.
Jose, we have a couple of things for you. We have a plaque from Richmond Kiwanis recognizing you as the Explorer of the Year. And here's some gift certificates from the various elected officials. Congratulations. Okay, before we get on to the next one, just want to remind you, one of the reasons that we do the this function, it's also a fundraiser for the Key Wins program, which is the youth side of the Kiwanis International. So on your table should be a little plastic tip jar. Please help us out. This helps fund some of the events and organizations that Key Wins is associated with, and helps them travel, lodging, and etc. That goes also for the raffle prizes as well. We're still selling raffle prizes, so if you're interested, and we got some really good stuff over there. Okay, next is going to be the Richmond Fire Department Youth Academy Award. Chief Shepherd, are you coming up for that? Captain Rico Rincon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rico Rincon, captain with the Richmond Fire Department, and tonight I'm here to present our Youth Academy Cadet of the Year Award. The Richmond Youth Academy is a youth mentorship and development program aimed at serving Richmond's youth with three main goals: academic achievement, community service, and self-discipline. Throughout a year of intense training, cadets work alongside firefighters, learning fire behavior, fire extinguishers, ropes and knots, how to deploy and climb ground ladders, search and rescue techniques, vehicle extrication, and a host of other firefighting skills. This evening it's my honor to introduce to you a cadet who not only accepted the challenge of working toward the three main goals of the program, but has continued to excel throughout this year's training. When I met with our staff to determine who would be the Cadet of the Year, all of our personnel nominated the same individual. Comments were made about how he is always the first one to arrive at trainings and the last one to leave. Comments were also made about his work ethic, about how instead of telling you how hard he works, he puts his head down and pushes forward and let his work speak for itself. One firefighter recalled a training where the cadets were responsible for rescuing a 185-pound mannequin out of a building where it was filled with partial smoke. We can't put them in exactly what we go through, but they had almost no visibility and had to work through it as a team. This individual led his team through the evolution, and once they rescued the victim, before taking a break, he made sure his entire team took a break, served them all water before he sat down to take a break himself. Exemplified leadership that we aim to see in our fire department as well. During the brief time I've had to work with this cadet, he has demonstrated character and a work ethic that are the foundation of him developing a successful public safety future. Please join me in honoring our Richmond Youth Academy 2019 Cadet of the Year, Joe McFadden.
Joe, congratulations. There's a plaque from Richmond Kiwanis, some certificates from our elected officials. Rico, you got anything else? Congratulations. Okay, the next award is going to be Dispatcher of the Year. Can I have Chief Bisa French come up?
Good evening, everyone. So the 2019 Dispatcher of the Year is Dispatcher 2, Marianne Hill. Can I have Marianne come up? So Dispatcher Hill is being recognized for her excellence in effectively working with the public as an emergency dispatcher, and also for being an empathetic call taker, outstanding trainer, and a great teammate. Dispatcher Hill is so well known for her thoroughness as a dispatcher that her coworkers refer to complex calls as a Marianne call. This means that if you're a dispatcher receiving a Marianne call, that you will likely end up having to call the cell phone provider for more information, cross-reference the records database, look up premise histories for a location, and contact other law enforcement agencies to follow up or pass information along. In addition, Dispatcher Hill is also known for being an excellent trainer. Last year, she spent over 500 hours training newly appointed dispatchers. She is patient, thorough, and most of all, compassionate, and always has a genuine interest in her trainees' professional growth. During 2019, Dispatcher Hill answered nearly 15,000 calls to the Communications Center, more than any other dispatcher in our center. Dispatcher Hill, for these reasons and many more, it's with great pleasure that I present you with the 2019 Dispatcher of the Year Award. Congratulations for a job well done.
Mary, on top of the nice award that the chief just gave you is a plaque from Richmond Kiwanis and some certificates from our electeds. Congratulations. Okay, we've got one other one that's not on your program, Chief.
This week, we learned that one of our officers was selected as the National PAL Law Enforcement Inspirational Awardee. Officer Gary Lewis, please come up. Officer Lewis has worked several assignments that allowed him to use his skills to encourage youth development. Gary worked as a crime-free multi-housing officer. His responsibilities included connecting with tenants, security, and management to improve safety in some of the city's most challenging housing communities. He noticed many of the young people didn't have positive interactions with the police and would call us names. He soon began engaging with the youth and learned that many of them needed support in school. This led Officer Lewis to develop an academic mentoring program called the Straight A's Program. The program provided college tours and fun trips as incentives to students that improved their grades and behavior. The program eventually gained the support of various sponsors such as the Oakland A's. Soon, the youth and parents in the department complexes no longer called Gary 5-0, but began to call him Lewis, and some of them even referred to him as Dad. Because of his close relationship with the community, he was also able to prevent many violent acts of retaliation through the trust he built with the families there. Gary continued his work as a school resource officer, the assignment that he holds now. He worked closely with the campuses to offer youth in need of counseling, mentoring, conflict mediation, and graduation preparation assistance, and soon became a campus favorite for students and their parents. Officer Lewis is an example of service, dedication, and excellence. He is the epitome of giving back. For these reasons, the National Police Activities League Board voted to recognize Officer Lewis as the Law Enforcement Inspirational Awardee. Congratulations. There's a National PAL right up.
Congratulations, Gary. As a side note, Gary is also in the running for National PAL Officer of the Year, and if he is honored with that, he goes to New Orleans to receive that award, so we're hoping that works out. Yep. And now we'll do the Teamwork Award.
All right. So the 2019 Teamwork Award is presented to Cheryl Cardenas, Colin Brown, Deanna Coyle, Doug Lamb, Jamie Howe, Jennifer Jones, Laura Canello, Lativa Robles, Marianne Hill, Michael Lampton, Michael Lusk, Michael Schlimmer, Stephanie Menace, Victor Rocha, Yvonne Ramundo, and Lisa Garcia. Can we have all of you come up, please? This is our communications center team, so for both fire and police. Collectively, the communication staff from 2019 had over 250 years of service combined. The communication center team is behind the scenes interface between the public and all of our first responders, and are being recognized for their strong team culture. Although dispatchers have software to assist with their work, it's really the dispatcher's ability to work as a cohesive unit under stressful conditions that allows them to quickly send help when seconds matter. Last year, our communications center team also gave up many hours of their personal time to meet minimum staffing requirements, effectively implemented a new CAD system, and took on additional records-related duties. They worked almost 8,000 hours of overtime, a lot of them mandatory overtime hours. They processed 262,000 calls for service. This was all accomplished working at nearly 50% staffing in our center. We're severely understaffed, so if anybody's looking for a job as a dispatcher, come join our team. When citizens offer praise, they often thank the first responders and forget about our incredible communications center team. Today, I want to thank all of you for your good judgment under pressure, personal sacrifice, selfless service, compassion, effective multitasking, and your strong desire to serve the community. I want to especially thank Michael Schlimmer, the communications manager, for your tireless dedication to this team and the success of our center. I want to thank Michael Lampton, who had his last day as a dispatcher this year after 30 years of service. He's retiring. And also Lisa Jensen Garcia, who joined us tonight after retiring last year, 30 years as a dispatcher. It's with great pleasure that I present all of you with the 2019 Teamwork Award. Congratulations for a job well done. Thank you.
Chief Shepherd, unit citations.
Safe, right? Can't be too safe. All right. How's everyone this evening? This is going to take a little while. I apologize. We're verbose. All right, let's get started. Good evening. I'm Fire Chief Adrian Shepard, and thank you all for coming out this evening. This is the Individual Service Award rating of Level B. Engine 61, Captain Mark Palachek, and Firefighter Chris Silvus. Also, the Distinguished Service Award, Brooks Island Caretaker, Matt Allen. On the night of March 15, 2019, units from the Richmond Fire and Police Department were dispatched for a possible rescue of a person in the water at Brickyard Cove. The crew from Engine 61 made contact with RPD officers at the fishing pier at the end of Dorman Drive, where they had located a woman in the water with an altered level of consciousness, but somehow hanging on to the pier. Engine 61 was informed that the woman had been in the water for more than 20 to 30 minutes prior to their arrival. Engine 61 made contact with the Brooks Island caretaker, Mr. Matt Allen, who was responding in his inflatable boat. Captain Mark Palachek and firefighter Chris Silvas boarded Mr. Allen's boat and held on as he maneuvered the boat through the waters to the patient, where Captain Palachek and firefighter Silvus were able to render care. While returning to the shore, firefighter Silvus provided much-needed medical care. The patient was conscious but suffering from hypothermia. Mr. Allen maneuvered his boat towards the beach, and when they arrived, the patient was transported to awaiting paramedics. Captain Mark Palachek and firefighter Christopher Silvus are the receiving individuals of the Individual Service Award rating of Level B, which is awarded to the member that has completed an act of personal bravery. For his selfless display of exceptional meritorious service to the Richmond Fire Department, Mr. Matt Allen is being awarded the Richmond Fire Department Distinguished Service Award. This is the highest non-valorous award that may be awarded to a civilian. His service is of great importance on that morning, which enabled our members to save this person's life. Please join me in recognizing Mr. Allen, Captain Palachek, and Firefighter Christopher Silvus. All right, this is going to be a while. Unit citation. On April 17, 2019, the Richmond Fire Department and the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District responded to a residence in El Sobrani for an animal in distress. Crews arrived on scene to find a 100-pound dog had fallen 20 to 30 feet down a ravine and was unable to get out. The dog's owner had scrambled down the hill to check on her beloved family member and reported that the dog was uninjured. However, in doing so, the owner and the dog needed assistance getting back up the slippery ravine. The slope was steep, the footing was poor and unstable because of the wet conditions. Hasty actions by the responders would have surely resulted in injuries to the dog and its owner, rescuers, and other good Samaritans who had tried to help. A plan was put into action to remove parts of a fence to gain access to the ravine, while the crew of Rescue 68 was setting up a rigging system to safely lower rescuers to the dog and its owner. Rescue 68 firefighter Christopher Riccardi and Engine 69's firefighter donned safety harnesses and rappelled down the ravine, carrying a rescue basket and other pieces of equipment. While firefighters were busy packaging the dog and its owner, Captain Jeremy Booth and Engineer Will Bachman of Engine 68 constructed a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage rope hauling system to hoist the dog and its owner back to the top. Zelda, the 7-year-old Great Pyrenees, who, by the way, was rescued once before by the Richmond Mile Animal Foundation, and her owner were safely hoisted from the ravine and checked for injuries by paramedics who were on scene. This rescue is a prime example of agencies working together seamlessly to rescue people, and in this instance, animals, from harm. For their actions, the crew members of Rescue 68, Captain Jeremy Booth, Engineer Will Bachman, and Firefighter Christopher Riccardi are receiving the Unit Citation Award. This award is presented to a company that has displayed outstanding teamwork and cooperation in fulfilling the Richmond Fire Department's mission to save lives. Please join me in recognizing the members of Rescue 68, Captain Jeremy Booth, Engineer Will Bachman, and Christopher Riccardi. And I believe that they are on duty and unable to be here this evening because we have other crews who are in attendance here, so they're out protecting the city at this time. But please, let's give them a round of applause. This is what it's like when you have to defend your thesis. You got to stand up there. All right, another recognition here. Individual Service Award rating of Class 1. It is with immense gratitude that I have this opportunity to recognize Captain Anthony Woodards and his wife, Tiffany. On August 25th, 2019, while off duty and traveling on eastbound 280, Anthony and Tiffany encountered a vehicle on fire and in the center divider. The vehicle was on its side with no visible driver standing nearby. Anthony and Tiffany stopped their car to lend assistance where possible. As Anthony approached the vehicle, he noticed the driver was still inside, semi-conscious, and unable to free herself. With the help of another passerby, Anthony kicked out the front windshield to free the driver. This was not easy as smoke and flames billowed from the vehicle and hampered rescue. After great effort, Anthony was able to remove the driver and carry her to safety. It was then that Anthony and Tiffany provided medical aid until emergency responders could arrive, all while the vehicle continued to burn and became fully engulfed in flames. The driver sustained moderate injuries but is expected to make a full recovery. Were it not for the heroic and quick actions of Captain Woodards, his wife Tiffany, and the other Good Samaritan, this event would have had a tragic outcome. Captain Woodards and the other passers-by placed themselves in grave danger that day and showed great courage to save another person's life. And for his actions, Captain Woodards is being awarded the Individual Service Award rating of Class 1, which is awarded to the member that has performed an act involving degree of dangers characterized as extreme personal risk. Please join me in recognizing Captain Anthony Woodards and his wife Tiffany this evening. And as with the last crew, they are unable to be here this evening, so we'll give them a round of applause. Okay, we have a unit citation and we also have a life-saving medal. On the evening of September 27, 2019, while leaving the school grounds after watching a football game at De Anza High School, 3 students were struck by gunfire from a passing vehicle as they walked down Valley View Road. Fire crews from the Richmond Fire Department and the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District responded to the shooting of a report of multiple victims. Captain Rick Vargas, Engineer Sean McComb, and Firefighter Manuel Galley were on the Richmond Fire Unit. Captain Ken Lu. My apologies, sir. Captain Ken Lu, Engineer Daniel Haas, and Firefighter Paramedic Nicholas Morgado, staff Contra Costa County Fire Protection Engine 69. In addition, Contra Costa County Fire Engine 70 responded and assisted with providing medical aid for the shooting victims, while Engine 68 from Richmond secured a landing zone for a medical helicopter. These engine companies from 2 different agencies worked seamlessly to provide medical aid to 2 16-year-old boys with moderate injuries and 1 17-year-old girl who was in critical condition. Firefighter Manuel Galley initiated medical aid on the most critical patient, applying a life-saving occlusive dressing to prevent air from entering to the patient's chest, buying critical time for paramedics to apply to depressurize the area around her lungs and allow her to breathe. The life-saving skills that they exhibited are rarely performed in the field, yet they were executed with perfection. The patient was in grave condition. However, these actions allowed for enough time to get the patient transported by medical helicopter to a nearby medical trauma center where surgeons were standing by. I'm pleased to say that because of the quick actions of these heroes, this young lady was able to recover from her injuries and was released from the hospital in January. Because of their actions, the crew from Richmond Fire Company 63 and the Contra Costa County Fire Company 69 are receiving the Unit Citation Award. This award is presented to companies that have displayed outstanding teamwork and cooperation in fulfilling our mission to save lives. The Richmond Firefighter Manuel Galley and Contra Costa County Firefighter Paramedic Nicholas Morgado are receiving the individual life-saving medals for their quick actions, quick thinking, and heroic capabilities, which saved the life of this young lady. Please join me in recognizing Captain Rick Vargas, Engineer Sean McComb, Firefighter Galley, and the crew from Contra Costa Fire Protection District, Captain Ken Lu, Engineer Daniel Haas, and Firefighter Paramedic Nicholas Morgado. All the way in the back too, huh? Thank you very much. Just 8 more to go. Unit Citation Award and the Individual Service Award rating of Level B. On Sunday, October 20, 2019, multiple units from the Richmond Fire Department and the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District responded for the report of a commercial structure fire at 1101 13th Street. Engine 62 arrived on scene of an encampment fire where flames were impinging onto the BART control tower. Realizing there was a person trapped inside the tower, Captain Jason Flom issued life-saving orders to responding companies to extinguish the fire and rescue the person trapped inside the control tower. Engineer Daniel James positioned the apparatus and deployed hose lines and water while firefighter Marcus Famui entered the tower to locate the trapped employee. On the upper floors of the tower, firefighter Famui located an employee suffering from smoke inhalation. He quickly removed the trapped employee from the tower and delivered her to units waiting outside to provide medical aid and transport. Rescues are very challenging, yet Captain Flom, Engineer Daniel James, and firefighter Marcus Famui, their keen awareness, professional skill, and ability to work as a team was key to the successful rescue of this person. And for their swift actions, Captain Flom, Engineer James, and firefighter Famui are receiving the Unit Citation Award. This award is presented to the company that has displayed outstanding teamwork and cooperation in fulfilling the Richmond Fire Department's mission to save lives. And firefighter Marcus Famui is also being awarded the Individual Service Award rating of Level B, which is awarded to the member that has completed an act of personal bravery. Please join me in recognizing Captain Flom, Engineer Daniel James, and firefighter Marcus Famui. I don't think they're photogenic or something like that. I don't know. Last one here. Unit Citation and Individual Service Award rating Level 1. On November 30, 2019, multiple units from the Richmond Fire Department and the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District responded for the report of a residential fire with reports of a person trapped inside. The Richmond Fire Engine 62 arrived on scene to find a single-story, single-family dwelling with heavy smoke and fire showing from the front window. Fire attack crews were confronted with a locked security door that hampered access and delayed the response. Thinking quickly, the fire attack crew decided to break the front window and attack the fire. Firefighter Marcus Famui entered through the broken window and was able to reach the front door while at the same time extinguishing large portions of the fire. At this point, Captain Jason Flom entered the building and started down the hallway searching for trapped occupants. Despite high heat and zero visibility, Captain Jason Flom was able to locate an unconscious victim lying on the floor of the master bedroom. Captain Flom carried the victim out of the burning house, where medical crews provided medical aid and transport. Every company on scene that day played a vital role in saving this person's life. However, it was the swift actions of Engine 62 that ultimately saved this person's life. Because of their actions, the crew members of Engine 62, Captain Flom, Engineer Velasquez, and firefighter Famui are receiving a Unit Citation Award. This award is presented to a company that has displayed outstanding teamwork and cooperation in fulfilling the Richmond Fire Department's mission to save lives. Captain Jason Flom is also being awarded the Individual Service Award rating of Level A, which is awarded to the member who has completed an act of personal bravery. Please join me in recognizing Captain Flom, Engineer Michael Velasquez, and firefighter Marcus Famui. Stand so far back. There you go. Right. Deja vu all over again. Right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. That was my last one.
Thank you, Chief. You had me at Perel. Genevieve, do you have the CERT award now? Genevieve Pastor Cohen.
Thank you, Joey. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Great. My name's Genevieve Pastor Cohen. I am the Fire Department's OES, or Office of Emergency Services Manager. And it's my pleasure today to recognize 4 individuals for the Sandy Gensler Mack Memorial Award. First of all, I knew Sandy, and she was so dedicated, so committed, and no matter what it was, she was there all of the time. And so when Lynn Mack asked me to choose one volunteer to represent our the Volunteer of the Year, I couldn't name just one, because our volunteers, there's 4 of them who've really made an impact. For one of the things, when it comes to volunteering, these people have gone through the Community Emergency Response Team training. And after they do that, some of them go off into their neighborhoods and work with their neighborhoods, but these individuals took the next step to involve themselves in all different kinds of aspects of neighborhood and community preparedness. So what I'd like to do is have all 4 of them come up. Diane Richwine, Denora Barton Antonio, Rebecca Newbern, and Alvin Todd. Just stand right next to me. Great. Okay, so when it comes, Diane Richwine, right here, Diane led the charge to organize and execute our first Light Up the Bay communications exercise involving nearly 91 participants transmitting communications via GMRS and ham radios from the neighborhood level to the city's EOC communications room. That's in Michael's comm center. And we call it the rec room. Her coordinating team included David Swanson and David Roth. In addition, she teamed with David Swanson to update the CERT Neighborhood Radio Communications Response Guide, and it's on our website, which took many hours to create and is now being used by our CERT neighborhood teams. Diane. And Denora Barton Antonio, wave, is our Spanish CERT program coordinator and instructor. She rallied up the Hispanic community and successfully conducted 2 Spanish CERT academies this past year and graduated nearly 60 Spanish-speaking CERT volunteers. And just so that you know, her fall class embodied Denora's enthusiasm of neighbor helping neighbor by helping farm laborers who were impacted by the Kincaid fire with delivering over 100 bags of groceries to them, and for the holidays, collecting and distributing holiday toys to the farm laborers' children. And Rebecca Newbern, is an educator and presented CERT community skills trainings to the broader community and launched the CERTRichmond.org website to help connect our CERT community and the public, and includes local emergency preparedness information too. In addition, she was deployed to Butte County, the Camp Fires, to assist in the recovery. And then Alvin Todd. Alvin Todd's enthusiasm for preparedness and being involved with our CERT program is a joy. he volunteered with no hesitation to be deployed to the Butte County campfire recovery efforts to assist at the animal shelters and the local assistance centers. In addition, what I love is that whenever a need arises, you can always count on him being there to support with a smile. Now, at this time, I'd like you to give a round of applause to these 4 wonderful volunteers. Congratulations. Oh, we're bottling it. Get a picture? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Genevieve. I'll just give a little plug to CERT. These folks do a lot of stuff on their own time for the community, and it's not if, but when the next big earthquake hits, they're gonna be instrumental for our community. So, thank you for what you guys do. Chief Shepard, Firefighter of the Year.
You know, it is with Rebecca and all the volunteers over there at CERT, it's that they can't actually get enough. And we can't, they ask for so little. And I apologize at times I can't get it to you because I know how much more you would do for us. And I'm pleased that you were recognized here today, but I know that you want to do so much more. So thank you all for your participation in our community. Thank you. All right, back up here again. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I join you this evening to present the Firefighter of the Year Award on behalf of the Richmond Fire Department. But first, I'd like to take a moment to offer my thanks to all the members of the Fire Department for doing their job so humbly, with care, and as professionals. The members of the Fire Department have made an incalculable contribution to our community, not only by improving the outcomes from tragic events, but through community outreach. I recall a woman earlier this year whose steps leading to her home were dilapidated and had become a trip hazard. Without second thought, upon seeing these conditions, one of our crews devised a plan to repair her steps. They purchased cement, wood for framing, and rebar. The crews brought in their own tools from home and the skills they learned from working the trades to rebuild her steps and to make her home safe. This simple act undoubtedly prevented future opportunities for this woman to trip and harm herself. Now each year, in this very building actually last year, each year the Richmond Fire Department works closely with the Richmond Police Department and numerous volunteers to provide food, toys, and fun to our community. It's these kind acts that go a long way and ensure our young children can enjoy the holiday. So to Cindy, Julie, Stacy, Pam, Michelle, Shahad, Anita, Ed, Judy, other volunteers, and our many donors, some who are in the house tonight. On behalf of Officer Ben Terrio and myself, we thank you. Our public safety dispatchers are some of the best and busiest in the industry. Each day, they field calls for a multitude of emergencies. Many callers are panicked, agitated, and scared. And it is only through a calm, deliberate, and compassionate understanding that these dispatch professionals are able to decipher what is going on, alert responders, monitor the situation, and continue fielding incoming calls for service. All police officers and firefighters are comforted by knowing the dispatcher is alert to their situation and ready to provide assistance if needed. Without question, our dispatchers are the angels of mercy to those in need. I'm going to applaud them. for that. So the Firefighter of the Year award is one that we make annually. We gather nominations from inside the department so everyone has a chance to nominate one of their peers for this distinguished award. This year, I take pleasure in recognizing one person in our department whose hard work and pride for the profession has had a noticeable impact on our department, Firefighter Christopher Silvus. So first, let me briefly tell you about Chris before he entered the fire service. Chris entered the United States Army in December of 2003, where he served with the 101st Airborne. Ben, is Ben in the room? Ben, that's the military for your Air Force guys, Ben, all right? Aside from serving on the 101st Airborne, Chris also served as an Army Ranger. Chris selflessly completed 2 tours in Iraq, and during his second deployment, he served as the acting platoon sergeant in charge of his own 30-person scout sniper platoon, as well as given command of an Iraqi Special Forces element to operate with a force multiplier. He also spent time as an attachment to Delta Force. All Chris members of his platoons also made it home safely. Good job, Chris. Chris joined the fire department as a lateral firefighter in 2015, and throughout his time here, it has become evident that the traits that served him in the military shine through in our department. His mantra is to always be ready, or be inspection ready. He takes great pride in taking extraordinary care of his equipment and the quarters, down to the last nook and cranny. Deep cleaning the station, not a problem. The curb that needed red paint touched up in front, let's fix it. Chris arrives at work earlier than most, and he can be relied upon to provide attention and detail to be prepared for the day. Chris also has a passion for equipment, and he's joined the small tool committee. He's also researching newer and more efficient tools that will help save lives. He's tested and spec'd new hose, maintained our inventory, and of course, cleaned every tool to be inspection ready. He also likes to stay on the forefront of training as it affects his profession. While off the job, he both takes and teaches classes, helping to mold the next generation of firefighter and EMT at Sierra College. His most recent pursuit is becoming Academy Director for the Richmond recruit class of 2020-1, which just started this past week. While not busy being a firefighter, Chris also spends time helping the Coast to Coast Foundation, an organization devoted to honoring fallen U.S. Special Operations Forces and enhancing the quality of life for wounded soldiers through motorcycle rides and fundraising events. Even after all these activities, keeping him busy, he still finds time to spend time with his son, Caden. I have had the absolute honor of working with firefighter Christopher Silvas for the past several years, and I cannot be happier to see him honored here tonight. Without further ado, I present to you Firefighter of the Year, Christopher Silvas. Please join me in welcoming Chris to the podium. Congratulations, sir.
I think somebody's going to come roast me first a little bit. Congratulations on the surprise guest speaker, Luis Padilla, President, Richmond Firefighters, Local 188. I just have a quick little story about Chris. In the fire service, we have a small community family. It's a small department, and word gets around fast. So when Chris was hired, we heard about this guy that came down to get his turnouts outfitted. All right, so we don't know who these guys are, but you know, they're going to check their turnouts to make sure they got the right size so that when the time comes, they're ready to go. So we heard about this young fellow from Grass Valley Fire that showed up with a sidearm. And we were like, what? I mean, they said it was a dirty, hairy gun that was like 3 inches. The barrel was 3 inches from the ground, which when you see Chris, that's, you know. So with that, Chris earned the name Yosemite Sam. So for the first part, Chris was Yosemite Sam, and he earned it. So, I mean, what an asset to the department. I've had a lot of conversations with Chris. You know how they always say, watch out for the quiet ones? Well, he was quiet during probation, you know, but you could always tell something was going on. There was something stewing in there. You know, he had those eyes that he's giving me right now. So, but I've had some great conversations with Chris. We talk a lot about the fire department and the term fire flow. And so congratulations, Chris. You've earned it, and way to go, my man. Congratulations. Thank you. Right, that's you,
Louis. You got to do something? Is he messing up already? He is. All right. Hey, Lou, you're messing up. You got to come back up here real quick. For all the law enforcement officers, I do have my concealed carry permit. That's what it was. I saw you all itching. Everyone gave me the side eye. I just want you to know. I don't know. He said you got to do something.
Oh. Gosh. We got the most important part. With this, I thee wed. Congratulations, man. Appreciate it. All right. There I go.
So in addition to being fire captain in the Richmond Fire Department, I'm also a member of our local Kiwanis Club that's hosting our dinner tonight. So I have the distinct honor of presenting firefighter Chris Silvus with the Kiwanis Richmond Firefighter of the Year 2019 award. Congratulations, Chris.
Can I take this off of here? Am I stuck to the podium? Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me good? Is this a little bit better? A little less reverb in the mic? Yeah, better? Casey's giving me the thumbs up. I know it's good. First, I'd like to apologize to the two guys that helped teach at the academy with me. This is basically going to be a repeat of my motivational speech towards the recruits with a little bit less of the emphasis on attention to detail. Real quick, first of all, I'd like to thank all the chiefs, company officers, and delegates that showed up tonight. Thank you very much. It means a lot that you would come out and take the time out of your day to recognize all the individuals in the department. I want to congratulate and say how proud I am of everybody that received an award tonight. It was well earned. I know a lot of people in this department across the board, PD and fire, are very humble and don't feel like they deserve it, but I think this is important in the sense that they're recognized for the actions that, believe it or not, are above and beyond what the average person would do. So even though it's commonality in our jobs and our ranks, it is actually something special. So take pride in that. You earned it, your family earned it, and the support that they give you, and let's give them all a round of applause again, please. I got notes, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, since everybody else gave you a little synopsis. I think it really helps to elaborate what my backstory is. I was born in Southern California. Unfortunately, my mother can't be here tonight. She's dealing with death in the family. As always, she's at the forefront, the most supportive person. She spent over 30 years working as a nurse, still currently today. My father, Ed Silvas, please stand up, sir. This man made me the man I am today. He's worked over 30 years as a paramedic, spent several years with the Los Angeles City Fire Department. You can say that my station visits and the bowl with the big spoon of ice cream next to the pool table and the recliners was probably the biggest inspiration. I got to hang out with some cops. I was like, wait, they get ice cream? I'm gonna be a fireman. This is way cooler. My father definitely taught me how to be a man. There was no corners cut. There was no slack given. I was pulling weeds from when I think I could walk for punishment out in the hot sun. I don't even think I was allowed to drink water. For that, Dad, Mom, even though you're not here, thank you very much. I owe so much to you. I want to point out everybody at the table right now. My girlfriend, Rochelle, Trey, Alana, my son, Caden, and even my ex-wife, Stephanie, who is a huge support. I couldn't do this job and give to this job without all of them helping out. So I want to say thank you, babe, love you. I have my first mentor in the fire service here with me, Damian Weber from Reno Fire. Stand up, brother, stand up. When I got out of the military, he was the first real fireman I got to meet, and he was my academy instructor at a regional basic academy at a college. So now I get to tell him things. It's pretty cool. No, Damian, thank you for driving down. It means the world to me. There's a lot of people that I wish could have been here, but unfortunately, as this job goes, they're all on duty. So a little bit about myself. I was always into sports. That's irrelevant. When I joined the military, I knew I wanted to serve this country. September 11th was definitely a motivation for me, but it was not why I joined the military. I knew from day one I was going to be a firefighter or a soldier. I met some of the best people in my life, and the military molded me into the man I am today. Most of my qualities, my work ethics were from the military. As Chief elaborated, my first duty station was with the 101st Airborne Division. I deployed in 2005, 2006 to Iraq. I spent over a year in that country working on counter-terrorist operations in the Diyala province, counter-IED operations, and was one of the first units overseas to identify that Iran was importing EFPs, which is the IED that killed more U.S. soldiers than any other thing in the war on terror. I lost several of my friends during that deployment. I learned how to be a man from those individuals. They gave everything. They taught me what service meant. They taught me how to be a father, and they taught me what hard work was and giving everything to everybody. My unit worked for 6 months with no more than 4 hours of sleep. My unit was responsible for more high-value targets and terrorists killed or captured in the Baghdad operation during that period than any other military unit to date. We worked hard, we fought hard, and not all of us came home. So I just want to point out, please, everybody, take a moment, remember those men that taught me how to be who I am. Just another mentor in the fire service. Obviously, Chief said I went to Ranger School, a huge accomplishment. My second deployment, I took over a high-value target, time-sensitive target raid team. For all you SWAT cops out there, raise your hand if you're a SWAT guy, maybe keep it down, I don't know. You know what that means. You know the pressures of going into the door. That taught me how to be a leader. I went from being young to understanding what it means to lead soldiers overseas. That responsibility and that challenge, that led to my unit being the only unit on the west side of Baghdad other than special operations units to hunt down the high-value terrorists, the top 10 in Baghdad. We captured all of them. As a huge accomplishment for us, the biggest thing that benefited me, even though I know soldiers that died overseas on that deployment, is I brought all my guys home. Every single one of them. Not one Purple Heart was issued on that deployment. The reason I tell you all that is to tell you that there are people that are better than me out there. I owe everything to all the people that have built me up and supported me. So with that being said, the Firefighter of the Year Award doesn't recognize the best firefighter in the department because that's unfair. There's too many quality people out there. I didn't know I was nominated. I had no idea I was getting this award until about 2 weeks ago. I'm very honored. But what I think it does is it identifies the person that exemplified all the hard work that just happened to get noticed. I've always been taught by my father, Don't work to be seen, work because it's right. So that's kind of my methodology. I want to tell you about some of my mentors in the fire service and people that inspire me. But first I want to open my already lengthy speech with a quote. This is how I view myself in the Richmond Fire Department. Out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are the real fighters. And we are lucky to have them. For they make the battle. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. Out of a room of 100 people, out of 100 people in this job, there's always that one. I strive to be that one every day. Sometimes I falter, sometimes I'm the 10. Some days I kick my legs up in the recliner and I shouldn't even be there. Let's be real. Some days are just harder than others. That quote was by Heraclitus. He's a Greek philosopher. He held that everything is constantly changing, which is true in the fire service. Opposite things are identical. I talk with a lot of senior guys in this department. We have totally opposite views of how fire should be fought. But it's still the same thing. Take a hose in, put the fire out. Everything is and is not at the same time. Everything is as you see it, and then it is not. As you can tell by Captain Flom, who is recognized for rescuing somebody, everyone sees the fire, it is a fire, but it is not the fire that is the issue. It is the person inside that we're going after. So that brings me what it means to be a fireman. I'm going to define some words for you. I'm not the most politically correct person in the room, but everything has a reason, is well thought out. Firemanship. Firemanship means practice, skill, or the occupation of firefighting. A fireman is a firefighter. A firefighter is a person whose job it is to extinguish fire. To me, a firefighter encompasses all the beautiful men and women that have chosen this profession. A fireman, to me, is the person that embraces the craft of being a firefighter. That is what I hope I can teach everybody in this job. One of my biggest mentors in this department, though personnel-wise maybe not the greatest, but as far as fighting fire goes, Ginger Bridges. When I first met her, I said, "Firefighter Ginger Bridges, it's a pleasure to meet you." She said, "Don't you ever call me that." I said, "I'm sorry. Did I say your name wrong?" She said, "No, I'm a fireman. I earned that title." For me, that was defining. I asked her about her thoughts on fighting fire and how the city worked, and she taught me more about how stretching hose lines and how the building construction in this city worked. I'd like to thank her for that to this day. She also taught me about the bluntness of this department, as I think everybody here knows. Anybody that knows Ginger knows. Ginger is blunt. There's things that set people aside in this job. I call those special people. I told the recruits this. What makes somebody special? Firefighter of the Year doesn't make me special. Being recognized by your peers, I think, is something that's important, but it doesn't mean that I'm any better than anyone else. Some people like this job because of the t-shirts. Some people embody the craft. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone can rise to the occasion. Doing the standard makes you a good employee. It's the things that you do when people aren't watching, I think, that makes you a good fireman. And that's what I hope I can continue to be throughout these next 20 plus years. I'm going to tell you a story about a person that I find as a huge inspiration. Just yesterday, right, Mooey? Yesterday? When that happened? I promise I'm almost done. Fdny firefighter Kevin Shea. If you don't know who he is, let me tell you about him. There was a roof rescue that happened in 1991 from the 12th floor. Does anybody know about this rescue? Firefighter Kevin Shea, I know you guys know about it. Firefighter Kevin Shea was the second person over the roof line to rescue somebody on a life safety rope. Back in 1991, a life safety rope was only supposed to be used once. What you don't know is that Patrick Brown went over the roof for the first victim already. The only reason Kevin's famous is because somebody got a great picture of him that made it on a magazine. Those individuals of Rescue Company 1 of the Fdny saved 2 people from the 12th floor dangling off of a building in the middle of New York. Everybody saw it. In today's day and age, we would call that going viral. Kevin was interviewed afterwards, and the news reporter said, "Hey, Kevin, do you feel like a hero?" Kevin goes, "No, I'm not a hero." His company officer, Captain Patty Brown, put his arm around him, gave him a kiss on the cheek, showing you how close these gentlemen were, and said, "He's a hero." Kevin Shea was injured in the World Trade Center attack in 1993. He fell 50 feet down into the open hole that he couldn't see when he was searching for victims, impaled his leg, received severe injuries. Kevin Shea retired from the FDNY, and as he was retired when the World Trade Center happened and the attacks, he came in off of retirement and still responded out to search for his fallen brothers. Somebody like that is that humble, that puts that much into the job, that to me is a firefighter of the year, and I am nowhere near that. That's what I strive for. That's what I hope to teach these recruits. What you don't know about that is that both Captain Patrick Brown and Patrick O'Keefe, they died in 9/11, along with all the other individuals that died. The 343 firefighters, the 70-plus police officers. That event affected everybody. Another person that was killed was Lieutenant Andy Fredericks. Andy Fredericks is remembered through Andy's ambassadors. He said once, and this rings true, and I think it rings true for the Richmond Fire Department, which is why me being up here does not define us. To fight any structure fire other than from the interior, when conditions are favorable to an interior attack, and through a thorough search of the building for victims has not been concluded, does not merely constitute incompetence, it smacks of utter cowardice. I'm the one recognized today, but everyone else that got their individual awards lived by that example. So to me, they're the firefighters of the year. They're the ones that put their life on the line. They're the ones that did all the real work. So let's give them a round of applause, please. In closing, to all the members of the fire department that are out here, you can't accomplish this doing just the minimum. What makes someone special? Hard work and grit. Aaron Fields teaches the Nozzle Forward program, who's one of Andy's ambassadors. His quote is this: "Education is an act of personal humility. Our job is not one that we ever exceed in the public's expectations of us. They expect us to solve their worst problems. We either meet the public's expectations or we fail. Work more, talk less." I obviously missed that last sentence. The first captain I had in this fire department was Mark Lucero. He also told me, we either rise to the occasion or fall to the level of training. Most people fall to their level of training, so train hard, be humble. I don't say this to show you that I'm here because of anything I did special, other than I just listened to those people that knew more about the job than me and mentored me. So I'm not the firefighter of the year because of anything I did. It's because I was smart enough to keep my mouth shut, like Lou said, and just listen and work hard. Thank you, everybody, for recognizing me. It means the world to me. That's all.
Congratulations. Okay, Lou Padilla's got one more award. Before we get to that, hope everybody enjoyed their dinner. Let's give thanks to Nika's Catering for helping with the event. Thank you. We are also closing out the raffle, and we'll start picking out winners. They'll be posted on the poster board on the bleachers for the individual prizes. So if you haven't put your tickets in, do so immediately. We're going to start picking them.
Oh, all right. Okay. Good evening once again. I'm currently serving my 25th year in the Richmond Fire Department, and as you know, firefighters and police officers as well, we see a lot of bad things, and it's kind of a downer, but what also comes with it, and we're going to honor a couple of them today. They're simply known as Ed and Judy, okay? Ed and Judy, they met in college and have been together for 43 years, all right? Their charitable commitment started back at Emporium Capwell's where Emporium Capitals used to have a giving tree where there was all these names of children on the tree, and they would pick a name, and in that name they would see what the kid wanted, and they would purchase that gift for the child. Well, one time they saw a kid ask for a blanket, and when they saw that, they knew that that was a problem and something had to be done about it. So that's what started their charitable, their journey. From there, they found more and more organizations that touched their hearts. They would help out at the Richmond Emergency Food Pantry, Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, and many more. One of their favorites is supporting the first grade class at Grant Elementary and supporting the Richmond Toy Program. And that is where I first heard of them, and that's where I first met them. You would come off from our shifts, and I heard about this couple that would come by and drop off toys for the program. They just kept doing it every year, until one time I actually met them. And we took pictures in front of the fire engines, and it's just something that's been happening ever since. So we can count on Ed and Judy. Judy loves to bake. She calls all the firefighters at Station 66 her boys and her girl, if Rachel's still here. So they're like her children. And she always makes these great cookies, and we really appreciate it. You can always find them walking the streets of North and East districts, picking up trash, cleaning up the play lots, painting over graffiti. They embody everything it means to be an outstanding citizen, and we're proud to call them family. Without any further ado, the Richmond Fire Department would like to recognize Ed and Judy as Citizen of the Year Award. Ed and Judy, come on up. Would you like to say anything? No. You like to say anything? No. All right, okay. All right, I'm going to take a picture.
Thank you.
Hold it up. There you go.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Okay. The next recipient, you might see him over there on the screen. The next recipient was born in the city of Oakland. One of the smallest kids in the neighborhood. He was constantly bullied as a young child. Growing up in a rough area, he started running with the wrong crowd. And in 2001, he and a close friend of his were involved in a shooting. He was shot 7 times and partially paralyzed. His friend unfortunately lost his life. God had a plan. Out of those ashes rose a mentor, a role model, a hero. He was instrumental in creating the 510 Bay Area BMXers. Can you guys stand up real quick? There they are. All right. Through this, he was able to reach out to underprivileged kids, kids who hadn't found their way, kids who were bullied like him. In the city of Richmond, he created Dirt World. Off 20th in Ohio rose a BMX pump track. There, kids can learn the sport that he loved, BMX racing. He brought the feeling of family to a sport that requires individual assertiveness. In a time where kids are staying inside playing video games, he has them outside enjoying the world. I got a text that I'll read that Mr. Cato, he's in Lone Star National, or he's in Houston, Texas at the Lone Star National race this week. Today was the qualifying for the World Championships in May, and tomorrow he's competing for it all. So let's recognize him. Ladies and gentlemen, I present this award to Mr. Howard Cato. Here to accept is his son, Brandon Cato. Come on up, Brandon. This award is a Community Outreach of the Year award. Congratulations, Brandon. Oh, man. Good, man. I saw you on the TV.
Oh, you saw me?
Yeah.
For real?
You're on the video. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Can you say? Okay. Oh, there you go.
How you doing?
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you guys for honoring me with this award this evening. I wish I could be there, but I had plans here this weekend that I had to be with my team. But I'm happy and honored that my son Brandon was able to be there, and some of my team members, and also to staff with me at Dirt World to be able to accept that award for us. We will continue to build at Dirt World and make smiles for the kids in the community. And I appreciate it, and I thank everyone for this award. I also look forward to hurry up and getting back from Houston here and getting back to the kids. So, like I said, you guys interested in riding bikes, your kids, or want to get out of the house, you want to get your kids out the house, check us out at Dirt World, or check us out at BayAreaBMXers.org and look for information to come out and get your kids active again. Thank you.
Before I hand this over, I just want to once again recognize how great it is to have everybody here, how awesome it is to have the police department here with us sharing these awards. When times can be so serious, it's nice to have a little something to laugh about, and believe me, this year the police department has not disappointed. Let's see, we're in March 8th, March 6th, and so far we've only had to tow their boat one time, so good job, Ben, you guys are doing really good. It's been really difficult. You know, this is my second year as a union president, and coming in here, this city of Richmond does not give you a break, okay? It hits you head on, so you have to learn fast. So, you know, fortunately for me, I've been learning from one of the best, you know, Ben Terrio, president of the RPOA. I've been following him. Yep, give him a hand. Yep, Ben, you're the man. But I'm still not there yet. I got a long way to go. So I've been looking at Ben, and I've been studying him, and I've been, how can I get some of that Ben-ness? How can I get the Ben, right? And it came to me, and I figured it out. Can you hold this for a second? It's the ponytail. I'm gonna rock this ponytail. Here's my band. Luis Padilla, President, Richmond Firefighters, Local 188. The City of Richmond must have the discipline and fiduciary responsibility to operate its budget for the sake of public safety. How do you think? What do you think? Huh? Ben? Huh? Yeah? All right. Before I hand it to you, Ben, bring it. I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate all you guys do. You guys work really hard. All you police officers got to understand how much this man works for you. He puts in a lot of extra time, and well done, Ben. I look forward to working with you, man. Seriously. Thank you, guys.
Whew. Thank you, Lou. Hopefully we have battery left. Chief French, let's get up here and get this over with.
So if we've learned nothing else tonight, we know that fighting fires does not affect the lung capacity of firefighters. Thank you for allowing us 6 minutes to honor our Officer of the Year. And congratulations to all the other recipients tonight. So our 2019 Officer of the Year is K-9 Officer Brandon Hodges. Brandon, where are you? Come on up. Now, if you feel like you're in a deja vu, you're not. Officer Hodges was in fact the Officer of the Year last year, as well as the year before. This is the third time he's been selected by his peers as Officer of the Year. But there's a good reason why. Officer Hodges is a well-rounded officer who continuously exceeds his duty requirements and demonstrates a distinct pattern of community service coupled with professional achievement. Officer Hodges is known for being reliable, always having a positive attitude, and being a great team player. In 2019, Officer Hodges recovered 23 firearms, made 75 arrests, apprehended 9 suspects with his police canine, and had 32 suspects surrender without a bite from his canine. When Officer Hodges was not busy fighting crime, he addressed quality of life issues by providing homeless outreach services, impounding over 100 abandoned vehicles, and solved other neighborhood problems. Officer Hodges, it is with great pleasure that I present you with the Officer of the Year Award for the 3rd consecutive year. Congratulations for a job well done.
Congratulations, Brandon. Chief French gave you the honorary pin for Officer of the Year. Here's a plaque from Kiwanis to go with your other 2. And our certificates from our elected officials. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ben Terrio.
Ben Terrio, president of the Richmond POA. Thank goodness we finally got here. But I got good news for all of you folks. Police officers have a mantra, unlike the firefighters who like to talk forever. It's just 3 things: ask, tell, make. We don't have to talk about it. That's it. That's all it takes. And Chief Shepard here, you, sir, my friend, have definitely surpassed our latest record, which was held by our previous chief, Alvin Brown, as the most lengthiest speech giver ever. So thank you. Let's tip your hat to the bald man right here. Appreciate that. Luis Padilla, I'm glad you finally got some props out. It's good. We're going to get you a speechwriter too, and it'll work out just fine. Also, this is a Thai event. This is not Hawaii. We're not doing Tommy Bahamas and stuff. That's not what we do. And I don't know where usually the firefighters are here deep at the end, but I see that they were so sleep deprived from their away from the station time that only a few could stay for the end. I know. It's tough. And Chris, I'm glad, very happy for you, and congratulations. That is heartfelt and sincere. I am a little concerned about you holding that battle axe. It is about the same size as you, but it's okay. I'm sure you'll survive, or you got friends that carry you into the truck. I want to thank our new city manager for coming through. The previous one decided that it wasn't in his interest to come to last year's event. Didn't work out for him too well. So thank you, City Manager's Night, for coming here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, there's plenty for everybody. I want to talk about Brandon Hodges, because we're not going to sit up here and talk about War and Peace. Brandon Hodges is our 3-time winner of this award, and there's a reason for it, because Brandon Hodges is very good at what he does. He is a good police officer. The people on the streets know who he is. In fact, come stand next to me, Brandon. Come here. Just 2 weeks ago, I walked up on a car with 2 gang members that I'm familiar with. They're nice guys. They're gang members, but they're nice guys. And somehow, they're in their stupor, looked up at me and said, "Hodges? Hodges, is that you?" No, it's not Hodges. It's not Hodges. close. But that's how good this guy is. He's got the criminals so confused that they're making such a large difference looking between the two of us. That's how good he is, and that's Brandon Hodges. That's why he's our Officer of the Year. We have a gun for you because that's what we do. We don't play with axes and knives. We play with guns right here. And this is for you, our Officer of the Year. It's your third gun in a row. Congratulations. And let's let the, congrats, man. Let's let our other little guy, let him talk. Go ahead.
Promise you real short and sweet, won't be 20 minutes. But congratulations to Chris, seriously, good job. Good firefighter, he's solid. Police Officer of the Year, third time in a row, is very humbling. It's not, I definitely don't deserve it. There's a lot of cops out there who do hard work and earn it every day. So they deserve, all those guys over there to my right, deserve recognition, for sure. And then, of course, the RPOA, command staff, thank you guys for your support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And obviously, last but not least, my wife. She's back there in the white, holding the baby, Miss Katie. Thank you. She's the stronghold. She's stay-at-home mom. She does everything so I can focus on work and come to work on call, come in on my off days, and work just like all those guys over there. Everyone works hard. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, before we wrap it up, just one last pitch for key wins. Please be generous. Put a couple of dollars in the tip jar for them. Raffle prizes are on the end. I'm being asked, all the recipients tonight, please come up to the front for a couple of photos. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next year.
Never not sick. We have smoking flames coming out of the Charlie side.
Negative claim, that's further, just take care of me in the corner.
For engine 61, engine 62, engine 66, for 64, battalion 64, battalion 71. Going to be a rupture fire.
65, 66.
66, go ahead.
Ready to full response for a structure fire.